Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Living the Sweet Life. I'm your host, TJ Sweet, and on this podcast, I will share ways that will help you live with intention, reshape your mindset, and look at the world through a grateful lens. So, this week, I want to talk a lot about living with intention, and I want to kind of weave in multiple thoughts here, but I wanted to share some personal experiences that have helped me kind of reframe my days and understanding that the headspace that I'm in and the mindset that I have is not something that I read about in a book once and then it just came naturally. There are ideas that have inspired me that made it feel more natural, but it's this daily repetition. This is what I teach people. This is what I coach people on is it's not just a quick fix to sustain it. And so I just want to walk through a couple things today to talk about how I go throughout my day and how I kind of perceive things and how I kind of do some self check-in. So first, I want to share a couple things that I think about when I wake up in the morning, right? So understanding that we can make the day whatever we want. And two, life is not as serious as we make it out to be. Now, why is that important? And, it's something to where I put a lot of pressure on myself and, as many of us do. And there are going to be deadlines and there's things we need to get done and there's goals. And those things tend to hover over all of us and they hover over me. There's things I want to get done. There's things I've meant to do yesterday and things I need to do tomorrow. But they help me guide my decision making on the things that I want to do, my deadlines and my goals and the people that I have in my life. And, it allows me to operate at a high level on a consistent basis. But also on a flip side of that, from time to time, it makes me feel like I'm kind of navigating a bit of a maze. And I slip into this tunnel vision that kind of makes life somewhat seem procedural. Kind of feels like it's a routine and everything has a schedule and it's not really living a life. It's more kind of going through life. And every so often, I do kind of miss some of the beauty and the simplicity of and the freedom of life. And I get so caught up in thinking about what needs to get done that I rarely think about day to day life and why it matters and who I get to spend this time with. And I sometimes forget that those things, the simplicity and the beauty and the freedom that we have, they're there. So to be reminded of this sense of abundance, this life's abundance, it's breath, right? It's very healing to be able to remember that. And it's like, step outside every once in a while, day to day. And it's something I have to remind myself, but try something new. Lose yourself in something. And I've talked about this many different times, but it's a matter of like, be willing to be bad at something, but just try something new and you'll start to understand the beauty in the world and even what your potential is. But kind of undergoing that sense of, I guess, an audit or self-awareness that cuts away at these things that have made their way into your life that don't really add any value. So just understand that today is yours, no one else's. You only get one chance at today. And no one or life is grading you on a 1 to 10 scale. So give yourself permission to explore, right? And have the green light that you need in your life to take some chances, to make mistakes, to adventure, and to, just for the sake of your own enjoyment of life, is try something new. And it's not even really necessarily just a me thing. I know there's a lot of us out there that kind of struggle with this, but the shift that I've been able to make in my life is when I stop and think about all these things and I start to inject some of these new things and these exploring opportunities. It's when I live in this life of abundance that I'm able to be a better version of myself, which means I can be better for the people that I'm the most grateful for. And it means I can show up for those people that I'm the most grateful for and be proud of how I'm able to be present and listen to them and care for them and make them feel seen. And so remember that we are freer than sometimes what our day-to-day lives make us feel like we're not really in control. We're more free than we're giving ourselves credit for. And there are countless times to where I've fallen into this state of frustration because I catch myself, kind of going back to different thoughts, and we have to be perpetually reminded of just kind of how free we are and how much opportunity we have. And, I'm not really sure why, but it's something that's just the truth. And it's really easy to fall into line, right? It kind of just get into your autopilot mode and just kind of get through the day. And when you're at Tuesday, you're thinking about Friday, and then you kind of miss out 4 days of your life. But the thing is, life kind of feels mundane at that point. And, and sometimes it's even counterproductive to who we are and what we want to be doing and the things we want to accomplish. And so we just kind of submit to it. And, we're kind of like, well, this is my life, it is what it is. And, in fact, by adopting that mindset, you're kind of forfeiting the greatness within yourself and the greatness in everything that surrounds you and the people that you get to have in your life. You're ignoring the very reason, the purpose that you're here, kind of giving in to safety and monotony. And, the real question is, are you personally growing? Are you getting better? Are you progressing on a routine basis? And are you challenging yourself? Are you finding the courage to step outside of the box, try something new, step outside those walls, break through those walls that you've built around yourself or maybe other people have put around you? And are you spending time with the people that matter the most to you? How are you giving your time for them? And are you seeking out peak experiences? Because not only do those, you should not only do those things, right? But you have to do those things. You should all the time. And every morning, the sun's going to come up, and let that be the reminder of all of this life is available to us. And, really no one gives us permission to pursue the life that we want to be living. And, we kind of think that somebody else is going to come along and say, okay, now you can, now you're worthy, now you deserve it. But that's never going to happen. So it's up to you to kind of look out the window and not necessarily see confinement, but see opportunity. Because, as you kind of look for those opportunities, as you look out the window at opportunities, you will see more opportunities. And, today's is really your day to find that courage and to make it the day that you want to make it. And, there's kind of this great saying about energy and living with intention, about what you water is what grows. So that where you place your attention and where you give your focus and where you give your energy, that's what ends up growing. So those are the things that end up guiding your feelings and your perception and your actions and your life, really. And so focus becomes your identity, becomes our identity. So what we focus on becomes who we think we are. And there's change, right, that comes from bringing awareness to what we're focusing on. And so I remember specifically, kind of when this light bulb moment was kind of a moment of insight for me when, I was going through a difficult time in my life and really kind of asking, kind of doing some self check-in and thinking about, am I really where I want to be? Am I the type of person that I really want to be? And am I showing up in the way that I want to for the people that I'm the most grateful for? And, I just remember sitting down and thinking, am I helping myself, or am I actually preventing myself from getting to where I want to go? Because oftentimes we give so much power to the external circumstances, thinking that things are happening to us, but when actually life is happening for us. And so are you on your own team right now? Are you helping yourself to living a life of happiness and fulfillment? Are you making choices that lead you closer to where you want to be? Are you watering the weeds in your life, or are you watering the flowers? And by weeds, I mean allocating energy and thoughts and efforts to things that are detrimental to the life that you want, to what you want to be doing, to things that make you happy and things that bring you fulfillment. Are you keeping yourself in places that you don't want to be and in relationships that are counterproductive? And are you thinking about what can go wrong instead of all the possibility of what could go right? And so really asking yourself, because I had to ask myself, am I watering the flowers in my own life? And really the positive, and focusing on the positive and highlighting opportunity and possibilities and the things that I'm grateful for, those are the seeds, the potential that can grow in boundless ways. And so I've always seen, this value in choosing positivity and focusing on possibility. But the one question that I get from people that I coach and people that I speak to all the time is they understand the value of it, but how do you maintain it? How do you stay in that headspace of being grateful and optimistic and hopeful? Because that's the thing. That's the thing about weeds. They're sneaky. They'll take control. Sometimes they even look like a flower, right? But they take control of your life without letting you know, even though we know that they're happening. And so, it kind of makes me stop and think about, it's not really that complex. It really is just that simple. It's identifying where you want to be and analyzing your actions based on those priorities. So for, every pillar of my life, I kind of stop and think about, again, this is that wheel of life that I told you that is available on my website, but it's really about where am I now and where do I want to be? It's really just that simple. And then, I think about every pillar of my life, of my health and my relationships and my career, my finances, and the exercise that I did. And the thing that I do with all my clients is I make kind of two dots, right? Kind of say, where am I now is one dot. And then where do I want to be is another dot. And then everything in between that is life. It's the ups and the downs and the joys and the sorrow. And, everything in between is the path. But it's simple, right? You start on a point of knowing that you can always get to point B. That's the first start. That's the first place to start, is believing that you can get to point B, that what you want actually exists, that you are able and capable to do it. And it's there. It does already exist. It's available to you. And then all of your energy and attention should be allocated to the thoughts and the behaviors that lead you to the next dot, that leads you on your path. And that's what you have to believe. And that's what's important. And it's not going to happen by just wishing for it. And so anything beyond or outside of that line, anything, that says that you're not good enough or that accepts not achieving your certain goals or whatever it may be, that's where the weeds live. So if you start to wonder, like when those self-limiting beliefs and the doubts come in, that's just the weeds. And we can pull those out and keep moving forward, right? And that's all really wasted space in our brains. And it's sometimes the heaviest space. But really the question is, why exhaust that energy? Why give so much focus to that energy? And to think, I'm not good enough to get this job, or I'm not good enough to be in this relationship, or I don't deserve happiness, or I don't deserve the money, or I don't deserve love, or whatever the thing may be. How does that help you get to where you want to be? How does that help you live the life you want to be living? And the simple answer is it doesn't. It keeps you where you are. So choose to eliminate that thought. And point B always exists. Point B is there for you, that second space that you want to be in. Just that notion alone of knowing that it exists can help you push yourself through a lot of things. And you don't have to achieve something to be good enough. You're already good enough to achieve the things from point A to point B. There are just some things you just have to potentially move out of the way. Right. And sometimes maybe it is something that you need to work on. You need to improve so that you can be prepared for what's been prepared for you. And maybe it's enhanced skills, or maybe it's more effort. Maybe it's a changed approach. But tackling all these things will water the flowers, right? It moves you along the path, and progress is happiness. There's so much joy in progress. And, like for me, for example, like my health is important, and, I work out and I stretch and I do different types of exercise all the time. But I've been limited for the last 2 years on this, or last year and a half or so. And so, but there really is this sense of saying, like, it's easy to say that you don't have time for things that you recognize that you want to be doing, or that it's not the good time for you. And, there's always things that we want to work on, but it should be the energy that we want to work on it, instead of the negative energy of us not being where we want to be. Sure. Like there's definitely things that I would like to change on my life, and I'd like to be more fit and healthier, and, have fantastic, seamless, consistent, perfect eating habits. But yeah, sure, there's always going to be room for improvement, but it's also taking ownership of what's possible, and not falling into this idea that maybe my genes don't allow that to happen for me, and maybe my genetic makeup is just different, or we start to think about reasons why we haven't accomplished something instead of how we can. And I'll tell you an example of where the weeds live is when we say, I'll just skip this one workout, or I'll just not do this one thing one time, or I'll just not practice gratitude today, or I'm just not going to read today. Whatever it is, that's where the weeds live, right? And so it's a matter of those things are outside of your path, outside of your journey. It's not who you are. And it really is just a matter of like, how do we spend our time and our energy focusing on what we want, and how incredible how incredible we are, and how capable we are. And so taking care of yourself, taking care of the people that you're the most grateful for, and taking accountability. Don't pass blame. If you do something wrong, take accountability for how you can do better and how you can be better for the people that you're the most grateful for. And don't just say sorry, but actually take steps and action steps. Write it down, how you're going to get better and how you're going to align yourself with the person you want to be. Not a perfect person, but a person committed to getting better. And so if it's really just a matter of believing that you have time to go from A to B, but believing that B is possible. And that's the beauty behind it. It's really just existing on a path and revolving around your ideas and your vision and your priorities brings out joy. But here's the truth. Negativity is a learned mindset. It's a learned thing. It's manufactured. There's a ton of things in this world that could make you hardened, that could change who you think you are, or change what you think you're capable of. And all those things are just circumstances that are happening in life. You perceive them as positive or negative, but it's really just, what do you want to do with those things? So when you hear negative things happening in the world, what do you want to do with it? Do you want to wallow into that and think that that's the only thing happening? Or do you want to think, how can I make a difference? How can I be better? Focusing on the negative is a choice, but focusing on the positive is as well. You're put in a position to kind of change your circumstances and bring about your own happiness. And, there's things in the external world that we can't change, but we are always in charge of our own internal world. And when you decide to kind of see more opportunity and you free yourself up really of this shackles of what's happened has happened and it is what it is, all these thoughts, that kind of makes you feel like you're just a cog in the wheel and you're just a victim throughout life, of things happening to you, not necessarily a victim, but just things happening to you. It's understanding that, you have a choice that you can make to move beyond some of the adversity that you've gone through and move beyond some of the hard things that are in life, for sure. And I'm not dismissing those things or minimizing those things at all. It's a matter of how do we use them to live the life that we want to be living moving forward. And so, it's really just a matter of, there are times where we're starting at the beginning and it's tough, but we've got to plant that seed of what we want. We got to water it every day and then nurture it as it starts to come out of the ground and bloom into this amazing thing that we call life. Take your time to take care of it. And it's always been possible. Everything that is possible for you. And you are worthy and you are deserving of the life that you want to be living. You aren't stuck. You're just making a choice to stand still sometimes. But don't beat yourself up, because there are times when standing still is the strongest thing you can do. So understand that watering the things that matter, spending time with the people that matter the most to you, and appreciating where you are in your life is the key to fulfillment and success in whatever area it may be. And these are the things that for me in my life, with thinking about how I want to make an impact in this world and, how I want to change the world, it starts with the people that I'm the most grateful for. And understanding that I just want to be at my best self so that I can be at my best for them. So I hope this podcast resonated with you. I hope a couple of thoughts kind of made you challenge some of your own self-limiting beliefs and made you think about, are you watering the weeds or watering the flowers more? But also, how do you make each day? Instead of just hoping that it's a good day, how do you make it a great day? And so as I wrap up this episode, just kind of reminding you to subscribe to this podcast. I appreciate all the support that I've been getting. It's been fantastic and inspiring to hear all the people that are listening and how it's impacting your life. And I just encourage you to share this episode with somebody that that may need this, because just knowing that you care enough about them to share a message like this may be everything they needed to make their own day. So I appreciate all of you. To the people I'm the most grateful for, I appreciate you, and thank you for inspiring me every day to be my best and to get better so that I can be better for you. And like I wrap up every episode, just reminding you, as far as reaching out to me. You can find me on social media, TJ Sweet_. on pretty much every platform. You can also go to my website of tjsweet.net, and you can message me there and even access my Wheel of Life assessment there too. So I appreciate all of you. I'm reminding you that you always have the power and the choice to reshape your mindset, live with intention, and look at the world through a grateful lens. Until the next episode, never stop.